Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and today we will be upgrading our cooling system just a little bit. So let me show you what we're going to be doing. We're going to be upgrading the thermostat. This is a Mishimoto FD2 style replica. Here we're going to be replacing the upper and lower radiator hose with the Acuity ones. As you can see, it comes with stickers as well and a little keychain. It'll also come with the hose clamps, so you don't need to worry about getting your own clamp. And replacing the coolant with distilled water and redline water butter. But before we do that, we're actually going to be flushing the radiator with this flush and cleaner with distilled water. So all the coolant's gonna go, and we're gonna replace everything with just water and the water butter. So here we are at the car, all set up and ready to go to drain the coolant. First thing you're gonna do, well for my case, is take off the bumper because I have the splitter in the way. So you're gonna go down, just like in the previous RBC video. You're gonna find that little plug that seals your radiator. So once you open that, the coolant should come pouring out, and just get ready to catch it with something and make sure not to spill anything. So we're gonna go ahead and take the radiator cap off, and we're just gonna turn it. So we're just gonna turn it just a little bit until coolant starts coming out of that little valve right there. And once it gets started, you can release it more and more. The problem with taking it out all at once is the coolant's gonna come gushing out and hit the subframe. And when that hits the subframe, it's gonna make a bigger mess. So it's better to let it drain little by little and just take your time. It'll also make things easier if you have this cool spill-free funnel that you can get from your auto store. It's kind of pricey, but I think it's worth it. It comes with a bunch of adapters that'll fit any radiator generally. So this is really good to have because not only will it make it easier to fill it, but to also burp the system. So the way we're going to be doing this is we're going to drain the coolant, then replace it with the distilled water and the flush and cleaner. Then we're going to let the system run, and we're going to burp it, of course. Let the fans kick on about 5 times, then repeat draining it and filling it with the distilled water for about 2 or 3 more times, and then the final one is filling it with distilled water and the full 12 ounces of the water butter. As you can see, I put the little plug back because I've drained quite a bit of coolant, and I filled up the funnel with distilled water, and now all we have to do is start the car and burp it again. As you can see, I started the car and the bubbles are coming up. It'll help even more if you squeeze the top hose. Now all we have to do is just wait for the fans to come on and circulate the water into the cooling system. While we're waiting for the car to circulate the new water into the system, the way I'm going to do it actually, I'm going to drain it and fill it once, and then drain it again, fill it with the cleaner, and then let that circulate to the system. I'm going to drain it and fill it about two or three more times, and then for the final one, that's when I'm going to take off the radiator hoses and the thermostat and replace it before filling it one more time for the last time with the water butter and the distilled water. So that way we will have a system that is free from coolant, that is clean, and has fresh everything. Here's the system Burping, as you can see, the old coolant is still coming out because it's not water that we put in. And I'm gonna wait for the pants to kick on one more time, and then I'm gonna shut it off and drain it again. There you go. Shut the car off real quick. And we're gonna go back down. As you can see, when you turn it off, there's a lot of bubbles still coming out, which is good. But now we're gonna undo this plug again. Undo the plug again. So now that it stopped draining, I put the plug back, and now it's time to put the radiator flush. There we go. Use that flush and then top it off with distilled water once again. Basically just rinse and repeat now that the radiator flush is back on. Just gonna turn the car back on and let it run. And we're gonna drain again after that. Okay, on to the good stuff. So as you can see, I have the upper radiator hose. You can make sure by lining it up with your previous hose, make sure it's going the same route. And taking it out is as easy as either taking pliers and clipping onto the hose clamp, or taking a flathead and simply undoing the clamp. And it's as simple as just literally yanking it out. Depends on how new or old your hoses are. It varies on how hard it might be able to come out. There's still some fluid, so that's why I have the rag to catch anything that spills. Now the old one is out. This new Acuity one is actually ready to go in. So simply just place it over the original spot and tighten the clamps. The thing to make sure is to make sure that the hose is actually recessed all the way back into the housing. Same thing with this side. So when your hose clamp comes around, it's actually sealing the hose within the housing, so you won't get any coolant leaks. As you can see, the hose clamp and the hose actually came on pretty easy, straight and forward. Just make sure you tighten both clamps to a snug, or else you might risk having a coolant leak. For the lower one, it was literally the exact same thing as the top, except the clips are a bit different because I forgot that my lower ones were stock, so I needed pliers to squeeze this. For the other side, whoever actually put it on put it at a really bad angle, so I couldn't get to it with my pliers in any angle whatsoever. So what I actually ended up doing was unbolting the thermostat itself and taking it out as one piece. And also there's a harness on top here that is connected, so you can get to that also after unbolting the thermostat. So there's that, and now we're ready to put in the new one. So here's the Mishimoto Thermostat. Make sure that the O-ring is seated, and precaution before putting this one on is going to your thermostat housing and making sure you take off the stock one. This one seems it's actually in pretty good shape, so guarantee that this hose and thermostat would have lasted quite a bit more, considering that my car actually has 120 something thousand miles, so not bad. Here we are under the car. Here's the new Acuity hose going down all the way to the new thermostat that we put in. Putting it back in is the same way as you took it out, just 3 bolts. Make sure you tighten them in sequence, and the thermostat actually comes with a little box that you can put the harness back in to its original place. So make sure you just tighten your clamps very snugly, and now you're ready to fill it back up. And here are the final steps of our install. So what we're doing now is filling the car back up with distilled water only and letting the car run for about 5 cycles, meaning letting the fan turn on and off about 5 times. And during this stage, you're going to be looking around where you touched, so you're going to be looking at the hose ends, making sure that there are no leaks, and you're going to be looking at the thermostat, trying to find an angle. You're going to look at the thermostat and try to find any leaks. If you find any leaks, you need to shut the car off and fix it immediately, because you don't want to make a big spill like I did. So make sure you also have kitty litter or some absorbent to clean up your mess. We're gonna check under here. As you can see, there's no leaks coming out of the new thermostat and from the new hose ends, so we are actually pretty good. After all that hard work and patience and perseverance, it's time to put the red line water butter, and that's pretty much it. Okay. Just open the bottle. Make sure that the plug is nice and tight, because you don't want to waste 10 to 12 bucks depending on where you buy this stuff. So put this in first. Okay, make sure you finish the whole bottle. You can even put water in here, shake it up, make sure you get everything. But I'm gonna go add water now. I've done my coolant several tons of times prior to this, so relatively the coolant that came out of my car is pretty clean, so clearing out the coolant from the entire system was rather easy and straightforward. Whereas if your coolant is old and you might have rust in it or some other contaminants, then it might take you a few more times to clean it up, right? Because when you want to put new stuff like the hoses and the new thermostat, it feels good to have fresh everything. Dang, voice crack. Feels good to have fresh everything in terms of the fluid that's gonna go in here, and I gotta start the car back up and let it burp. Yeah, as you can see, the system is burping and I have no leaks. I hope. Yep, everything seems good. Also, depending on how much water you bought, you can, if you want, drain and fill until you finish all your water. That's totally up to you. Basically, the whole point of this is to clean up your cooling system, get rid of any contaminants that you might have, get rid of any of the bubbles that you might have had already, and to improve cooling. As you might know, 9th gens run rather hot, so having this low temp thermostat from Mishimoto would help you a lot, along with using water butter. Before the video ends, I just wanted to give another big thanks to Lloyd for giving me a really good deal on these parts. Just make sure to hit him up if you need anything and tell him I sent you. Maybe he'll give you a good deal too.